Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by this video. This is going to be a short description of how I received spiritual help and actually profound insight uh, at an improv comedy class. So first of all, what is improv comedy? Well, for anyone who's seen the TV show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Improv comedy is an art form where two people or more than two people get up and improvise a scene that, when done well, is usually quite funny. This is something that I was really into it literally 20 years ago. And then I just didn't do it for quite some time. And I decided that I wanted to do it again. I felt really drawn to do it again after 20 years. And so I went to my first class yesterday and had a profound experience. So whenever I do any kind of performing, I tend to get sick to my stomach beforehand with nervousness and fear. And this was double the case because I just moved to a new town. And new group of people, and I hadn't done it in 20 years. So I was quite nervous. And the class was going well. And then, I in the middle of a couple scenes, I actually froze up. And God bless the person I was working with. Like at one point, someone said a really good line, which I could have worked with, but I was so nervous that I just said, I don't know what to say to that. And then the person just, worked off that and created something funny off of my statement. So, but I was just like, I need some help here. This is not going well, because I was feeling nervous. I was starting to mess up, and my scenes were still funny, but they weren't, it just wasn't flowing. So what I did is I asked Bruno Gröning for help. For those of you who haven't heard of Bruno Gröning, he, hands down, the spiritual teacher I have the most respect for. He's no longer in his body, and the most Christ-like being I've ever heard of. And I don't use that phrase lightly. I consider Christ the highest teacher to ever walk on this planet, not from a religious point of view, but really from a spiritual point of view, just the highest master. And Bruno Gröning was absolutely the most Christ, resembled him more than any other being that I've ever heard of anyway. And although he's no longer in his body, he said he would still be available to help. So I asked, Bruno, please help. Please take away all this fear and help. And then I started to do this practice that he taught of how to absorb healing life energy. So in between my scenes, I'm standing there taking in this healing energy. So first of all, I started to feel some peace. There was still some nervousness, but it was literally reduced, like 50, 60%, just almost instantly. Which in and of itself was a profound help. And then I can't believe this. And then I started to get insight, not just into how to do improv comedy better, but into myself. And I got very crystal clear guidance about what to do. And so when I act and when I do improv comedy, I tend to go big. Like one of my scenes, like they give you a setting. The setting is a hospital. And for this scene, my assignment was to start the scene by saying, I am. And so for the scene, I just walked up to the person and I said, I am dying. like really big, really dramatic. And I was like, not crying, but like really just this big. And I was kind of doing that scene after scene. And it's not a good, and so what I saw was, hey, that's not a good way to start a scene. You need to start with something small and then maybe build to something big, maybe not. And I got the guidance. I got very clear guidance. I was like, do something simple. So for my next scene, we were at a firehouse. So once again, opportunity for something really big. And my assignment was to start the scene by saying "we are," talking about me and my acting partner. And it's just to keep it really simple was the guidance I got. Really small and almost boring, which is counterintuitive, right? And so I was like, okay, we are, and so I started the scene, we are going for a walk, which in and of itself was funny. Everyone laughed because, it's counterintuitive. Firehouse, you think like, something dramatic, something big, but it was really an amazing scene. And actually that was the second scene that I did. The first scene, was at a bank, and after I started tuning in and I asked Bruno for help, and my assignment was to start the scene. You are talking about my partner, and so what? Again, I got this clear guidance: do something boring and simple. And now this is really profound because I have a tendency, not just in improv comedy, but in life, I'm a very passionate being. I just go for what's big and glorious. And so the guidance was really to keep it really simple. So we're at a bank. Again, my tendency would be like, the bank is getting robbed. Someone comes to make a deposit for $1 million. But again, the guidance was simple and grounded. That was the other thing, is like, get grounded. So for that scene, what came to me was to say, you need to redo this form. Like, very boring. But it actually, it turned into an amazing improv scene. And actually, sorry, the firehouse was the third scene. The bank was the second scene. The first scene after I started tuning in was hands down the all-time best improv scene I have ever done. Hands down. And so my partner started the scene, and again, my guidance was, keep it small, keep it simple, don't try to be funny, just connect to spirit, and and do this for the sake of growth. Do this for the sake of overcoming fear. Like, I got all this guidance how to do it, and it was hands down the best scene that I ever did, the best piece of acting that I ever did. It was genius. The audience loved it. And the most beautiful part of it is I wasn't trying. It was just effortlessly coming through me. And so all this guidance I got for improv was actually guidance for my life as well. Because like I said, I have this tendency to kind of do things big. And it's like, no, get grounded, keep it simple, keep it small, and then one step at a time. And this is really going to be life-changing because I have these ideas for these big projects, but I struggle to really ground them and just go one step at a time. But regardless, it was truly profound because I was just so anxious. There was so nervous. I was just so nervous. And that shifted almost immediately. And then I literally, and before improv comedy, I'd done a lot of other acting. This was a long time ago, but I was in quite a number of plays. I was really into acting for a while. And this scene I did, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing and really funny. And, in improv comedy, they talk about getting out of your own way. It's like you just connect to inspiration. And yes, there is some training. And yes, there is some skill. But the main skill is actually just getting out of yourself and being spontaneous and letting inspiration, or I call it spirit, letting spirit move through you. And that's what happened. And it happened over and over again once I started to take in this healing energy, and after having asked Bruno for help. And it was so beautiful. I got crystal clear guidance. Get grounded, get simple, be boring. Don't try to be funny. Trust in God and trust in Bruno, and do this. Quit trying to please other people, because in performing there's the tendency of like, oh, I want to impress other people. It's like, give up that motive. Approach it just from the motive of like, I'm here to learn, and I'm here to heal, and I'm here to grow. Like, let that be your new motive. And keep in mind, this guidance happened in between scenes, right? Like, I do a scene, like after the last scene that didn't go well, I was like, oh, I need help. Bruno, please. And then I started tuning in. And in between scenes, this guidance started to come to me while other people were doing other scenes. So that was one of the beautiful things, is like, no, you don't need to go up to the top of a mountain and be alone to receive guidance. You can get guidance anywhere. So that was another amazing component to this. So to anyone who's new to this channel or this topic, or you're saying, who the heck is Bruno Groening? There's a website below that gives some overview about Bruno Groening, and also it teaches you how to access this energy. I know this sounds like an infomercial, but I'm not selling anything. There's no money. There's no, this is not this isn't an infomercial. This is sharing information that actually saved my life. Through this practice, I've experienced multiple healings, and I just had another one. This is more a help than a healing, but it was profound guidance. And yeah. So thank you so much for dropping by this video, taking the time to watch it. And please do check out the website below. And if you don't, at least please reflect on the idea that help, spiritual help, energetic help, is always available. Regardless of your religion or spiritual path or belief or lack of belief, there is an energy and a power, a force, like from Star Wars, the Force. There is a force that is always available to help in every situation. And we just need to learn all that needs to happen. I just needed to learn how to tap into it and to trust it, and to be open to the possibility that help is available. And it really is. Thanks so much for joining in. Have yourself a beautiful day.